Hello, beautiful people. This is Yolanda with YSN Travel Concierge. I'm here today to provide a detailed review of Hotel Mousai Cancun and its sister property, Garza Blanca. Before I dive into that review, I just want to thank everyone for joining me here today and let you all know that I'm new to the YouTube community, and I look forward to being able to provide more videos like this, reviews, tours, and just random videos that have to do with all things travel, all things luxury, and a lifestyle that you would love to live. Let's dive in to Hotel Mousai Cancun. So I just want to say, this resort or hotel, it's part of a resort, but it's a hotel, was booked because recently married decided that we had no plans prior to the wedding, my wife and I, for where we wanted to go for our honeymoon. So we decided Mexico, we have a good time, it's a vibe, but we also wanted luxury, honeymoon, adults only vibes. Came across Hotel Mousai and we said, this is it. It's about 30 minutes north of the Cancun International Airport. And once you arrive to the resort, you know you've arrived. They greet you with a cold towel and glass of champagne before you even step into the front door. And the moment that you step in the front door, the first thing that you hear is, welcome home. And most times when I travel, you'll get excellent customer service, especially if you're traveling on the level of 5-star, 5 diamonds, the way we like to travel. But to receive that welcome home, yes, we were home. For the next 6 nights, it didn't matter what plane we got off of. It didn't matter what city we flew in from. Hotel Mousai definitely was home. When you walk in through the lobby area, you're greeted by fresh Art Deco and modern vibes, along with adult undertones. And throughout this video, you'll see different pictures and videos that really highlight what I'm talking about. The furniture, let's start there. Before I could even walk up to the front desk, the furniture, it was everything. You had like lipstick, graffiti type art. You had a few pieces that definitely let you know it was an adults only hotel, not appropriate for children. But even though it had those touches, you definitely knew you were in a place that provided luxury and would accommodate your every need. Check-in was seamless. We arrived a little bit early, so our room wasn't ready, but we were greeted by a non-alcoholic cocktail drink that kind of got your palate ready for everything you were going to experience at the resort. We opted for a Ultra Mousai King Suite oceanfront. So they have different levels, and with the ultra level, you're given your own personal butler. And when I say this is not like some resorts that you go to where they advertise a butler and you're sharing or they work the floor. Literally, we had our own personal butler for the entire stay. Because our room wasn't ready, they held our luggage for us, and our butler accompanied us to a restaurant for lunch on the Garza Blanca resort side. Now I have to say that Hotel Mousai is part of 3 other properties. You have Hotel Mousai, which is strictly an adults only hotel. And then next door to that, you have Garza Blanca, which is a family-friendly hotel that has adults-only rooftop pool area and certain adults-only sections. And then farther down, you have Villa del Palmar, which is an older resort out of all 3 properties, but it's still a nice resort. I can't really comment and provide a view on Villa del Palmar, but I can say from the pictures and from what I can see from the distance, if you chose that as an option, I'm sure the accommodations would be just as wonderful. Our experience at the restaurant, Blanca Blue, was wonderful for lunch. We had fresh seafood options, the drinks were refreshing, and the customer service, yet again, was absolutely wonderful. They instantly ask you every time that you dine, do you have any food allergies, anything that they could accommodate for when you arrive at the restaurants. Moving passed after we dined at Blanca Blue. We were able to kind of explore the resort a little bit. And I can say, Garza Blanca, for it to be a family-friendly or a non-adults only resort, the vibes of modern touches and how well the customer service and how well they kept the resort clean. While I wouldn't personally stay there, if you did opt to stay at Garza Blanca, you would not be disappointed. But more about that later. Let's get back to Hotel Mousai, where we stayed. We were notified shortly later that our room was ready, and our butler escorted us, and the bellman with our luggage escorted us to our room. And from the moment that you walk into the room, you had the curtains that opened up. You turned to the left and you saw the luxurious bathroom that had the open shower. It had the wonderful furnishings that a luxury bathroom should have. You walk further into the room, there was like a sitting area and a desk, and we had some welcome treats to welcome us there for our honeymoon. You walk further in, we were welcomed by a bottle of champagne and some desserts, and then you walk outside. Now, I can say that Cancun, like many areas, they are subjected to the high volume of seaweed, but it did not take away from the view. Our view from our balcony was absolutely stunning. And to top things off, they had a hammock that you could relax in, along with your own private jacuzzi spa that was inside of the balcony area. Now, to go more a little bit into the different levels with the hotel. They have your standard suites and rooms, but when you opt for the ultra level of suites, you have access to the higher floors, which I believe for there may have started at floors 6, 7, 8, and 9, with their rooftop being on floor 9. And also, again, as I expressed before, you have your own personal butler when you go with the ultra level. The rooftop pool, let me tell you, the views, they were stunning. You had your infinity pool. There was not a lack for seating. The moment that you walk off the elevator to go to the rooftop, you're greeted by someone who will literally find a seat for you. They'll lay out your towel for you. They'll adjust the umbrella so that it can provide the perfect level of shade for you, depending on where the sun is at in the sky. And ultimately, you're asked, what would you like to enjoy as far as a drink or something to eat? You're also able to get rooftop massages done by a mobile masseuse that will come around and provide massages, a full body massage while you're at the rooftop. The lower level also has what they consider their quiet pool, because the music is not, they don't have like a DJ like the upper level has. But I can say we thought that we would like be more at the rooftop pool, or that would be our favorite. The lower level pool ended up being a complete, absolute, like, relaxing luxury. I've arrived, I don't have to lift a finger, complete vibe. You are able to still see ocean views, but of course, being on a lower level, you're more at the height or sight level of where they have the chairs, and you can see the, unfortunately, some level of seaweed that they did try to make sure that they would try to gather up and try to keep the beach as clean as possible. But this is where I can absolutely go into the customer service. No shortage. They have a pool concierge who will come by and make sure, is there anything that I could do for you? Do you need sunscreen? Is there a book that you would like to read? Is there a special drink that I can have the bartender make for you? When I say anything and everything that you could possibly ask for at Hotel Mousai, they took care of it for you and made it available to you. Now let's get into the dining. Hotel Mousai, because it's considered a more boutique hotel and it's only for the adults only side, and they only have a certain level of rooms compared to the larger portion at Garza Blanca, only has one restaurant made for specialty dining, main restaurant, and the rooftop bar. The main restaurant, Noi, let me tell you, Before I went, I read maybe a few reviews online, but I kind of wanted to go into this not knowing too much, be surprised and take it for what it was. But I did notice a few comments about the Hotel Mousai's restaurant, Noi. Let me tell you, it's an Italian-based restaurant, and I think that I haven't even had that type of Italian food. You can't even find the level of Italian food in Italy itself. The pasta was freshly made. The steak. We went to the steak restaurant on the other part of Garza Blanca, and let me tell you, there was no comparison to the steak that we had at Noi. In addition to the fact that if there's not something on the menu, the chef will walk around, greet you, have a conversation with you, and if there's something specialty that you want or something that he can adjust for your palate, he'll let the kitchen know. And you can put a special request in for your entree or make adjustments to your meal accordingly. But honestly, while there was a few things that we took advantage of that we may have requested, everything on the menu was absolutely delicious. The customer service was fine dining at its best, and you really, really, again, felt like you were in the midst of a luxurious stay within the midst of the Cancun Hotel Zone area. The dessert options, I did not partake in as far as every single night, and I ate more dessert with the room service, which I'll get into shortly. But I can say the dessert options that they provided us, they were absolutely decadent and delicious. The room service, where can I even go with the room service? The room service offerings were 5-star, 4-star, spoon, diamond, Michelin, however you rate your restaurants. It was on the same level as if you went and had a fine dining experience, but it was brought to your room. You pretty much could order almost the same menu items that you could find at the Noi restaurant, but there was a variation. But with that being said, there was nothing lacking. You had a formally dressed waiter that would bring your food into the room. They would bring it in on a compact table, and then the table was able to expand with a tablecloth, the full fine dining setup as far as your silverware, your plating. They would set everything out for you, and they would also help you literally sit at their table that they set up in the room and patiently wait and make sure that everything was to your liking. So you were able to have 24-hour room service, and every time, whether you ordered 2 a.m. in the morning, whether you got breakfast, whether you got lunch, or decided to have dinner in the room, you were going to be able to have a fine dining experience. There's nothing short of perfection with Hotel Mousai. In addition, one of the key parts that I can rave about is its customer service and the staff there. Our butler would text us, and it wasn't overbearing, but if you had any request or any need, and I don't think that my wife and I don't think that we're super dependent or needy or high maintenance when it comes to our requests, but every single time we made a request, within 30 seconds, it was acknowledged, and within a short period of time, anything that we needed or asked for, it was taken care of. On our last day, prior to our last day, we decided to opt to have our laundry taken care of so we wouldn't have to go back home with dirty clothes. And this is an option that we've had before when we've traveled. But Hotel Mousai literally takes the time. One, I've traveled to places where they'll do their laundry and you don't expect much, like the detergent or the fabric softener. You really don't smell much, which is understanding because I'm sure they use basic detergent for anybody that might be allergic. But whatever detergent that Hotel Mousai used, or however they laundered our clothes, it was fresh. It was, each individual piece was folded. Then they packaged it up, wrapped it, and ribboned into 3 different bundles for our laundry for us to simply put into our suitcase and take home with us. So it was the fine touches like this that, for myself, who likes to go away and likes to have a high level of experiences when traveling, Hotel Mousai hit the mark for it. So I'm sure you're at the point where some of you may wonder, okay, you're speaking highly of Hotel Mousai, Garza Blanca Resort, but it's still Cancun. It's still the hotel zone. I still expect it to fall under a certain price point. For those of you, I can say that If you're looking for a deal, a quick getaway, one of those, oh, you can travel to Cancun for $5.99, Hotel Mousai is not it. This is not maybe the highest level of luxury. You're not going to be spending $10,000 a night, although they do have options in the Garza Blanca for some of their penthouse suites and rooms. But it falls in a price point where if you're looking for accommodations and high luxury travel, it falls where it's affordable for some folks that like to travel a certain type of way. We booked last minute, and without looking at the fine details, I can say that for our stay for 6 nights, it came in under $7,000. But that's because we opted for the ultra level suite. We opted for spa service and a few other things that we had added in. But I'm sure depending on the time of year, we traveled in July. You could probably travel for maybe less, or depending on the high season or holiday times, it might be a little bit more. But I say that to say, for someone who spent $6,000, $7,000 for a vacation for her honeymoon, or even if it wasn't for my honeymoon, I can say that I felt like, okay, it wasn't a big deal. It really wasn't. You got every single experience that you should expect in that price range for a stay in a resort level of that type. Okay, so with that being said, what are the different variations or different options that you can have when you book a stay at Hotel Mousai? So Hotel Mousai is a true hotel. It's not per se a resort, although it is attached to a resort. I can say that Hotel Mousai gives you 2 options. You can simply book an accommodation options in any suite level that you want. Their basic suite, their ultra level suite, corner suite, whichever. Just the accommodations. But they also have a level where you can book an all-inclusive option, which stands the same way it would if you were to book at an all-inclusive resort, which is the option that we went with. So when you arrive at the hotel, like most hotels, you're given an armband that you're able to use for your door key, but it also identifies each guest to let them know if you've opted for the all-inclusive option or if you're just going to do a la carte and pay for your meals as you go. They also have the technology, something that we're familiar with when we travel and cruise with Virgin. Your armband, in addition to serving as your door key, also is able to tap for you when you want to check out at the restaurants or when you're doing your bar tab. I can say, I'm not sure if it's a technology that is newer for them or not. Sometimes it would work, sometimes it wouldn't work. But for the times that we couldn't tap our band to check out or to close out our tab, they were able to bring over like an actual paper copy of the bill. So either way, you weren't inconvenienced. As far as the upgrades or other things that you can do at the resort, spa. We did opt for a spa day, and the spa is absolutely beautiful. It's clean, it's well taken care of. And again, another place where you're going to receive a high level of service and being accommodated to and taken care of. They had the different water experiences. And I'm sorry, I know it's like a spa where you go to the different types of pools and have the different types of water massages. We started off with that before ending with our massage. And I can say, whether it's here in the States or other trips that we've taken, we've had some pretty good massages, but the masseuse that I had, she knocked it out the park. I mean, got every crank and ache and everything that was going on. Whatever stress I had from wedding planning and everything, it went out the window. She got it all out. And I asked my wife, Ashley, like, how was her experience? Because, we had 2 different people, and I think she probably had an even better experience than I did. I walked away feeling a little jealous. But with that being said, it was absolutely amazing. And for a resort of that level, I would say if the price point, I think we spent about $300, give or take, for I guess a 2-hour experience, 2 to 3 hour experience, but there was no rush. After you were finished your massage, you still had the luxury. They had like this lounging area where you could sit back, and they would bring you out fresh like cheese or fresh crackers. They will offer you tea or fresh pressed juices, and it was facing like the ocean, and you could just look out and just look out the window and stay there as long as you want. It was no rush. So that was a wonderful experience. Although we did opt for the all-inclusive option, there were still other upgrades that you could opt for with the all-inclusive. Will be an additional cost. I don't think we tried anything else that was outside of what was included with our all-inclusive package, but there are upgrades that you could opt for if you wanted to. I do know like dinner service, they had the basic like wine for your dinner, but if you wanted to buy different levels of or bottles of wine, that would be considered an upgrade, and that was available to you. I'm trying to think. There were some water sports and water activities that was available. The water activities were found mainly on the Garza Blanca side, on the family resort side. But they also had provisions with your concierge, your downstairs concierge, that if you wanted to do off-property excursions, they would arrange that for you. You could either opt to have private car service take you to the excursions, or you could do like a shared tour bus. We usually do excursions when we travel, but because it was our honeymoon, we wanted to relax. From the moment we stepped on the property, we didn't leave the property. So I can't speak on how efficient, how quickly that they're able to take you to and from the excursions and what their off-property excursion experiences are. But I'm sure if it was any level of what they provide at the hotel and at the resort, I'm sure you would have a good time on any off-property excursions that you would experience. I'm trying to think, what else haven't I covered? Hotel Mousai. Okay, I've spoke on it, but I have to go back to it, and I'm going to insert plenty of videos and pictures while I'm talking. You'll see little different things to help you kind of understand what I'm talking about, but I cannot emphasize the art, the different pieces of fixtures that they had, the even to the foliage and the plants that they had placed around the resort. It was absolutely beautiful. It wasn't like your typical Caribbean resort vibe as far as you would expect, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you stay places, you go to the Caribbean or you go to islands and you expect a certain feel, a certain vibe, a certain type of decor and furniture, but it literally was a breath of fresh air to be somewhere where it wasn't your typical. You had the mix of colors, you had the purple carpet in the floor. They say that a lot of people describe them as like the Vegas of Cancun, and I get what they were saying, but for me sometimes I think Vegas is kind of like cliche. It's kind of like I get what they were saying, kind of sort of, but also not, because every single placement, every single piece of artwork, every single design, it kind of like made a statement. It was bright. It was just everything that you could think of if you're thinking like, okay, I want adult, I want grown, I want sexy, I want photo op, I want model photo shoot. There was no shortage of places where you could take a perfect picture, or you could just catch something that would catch your eye, and it was just like fresh, modern deco, like really just like something that I haven't seen in the Cancun area or at a resort. I think the closest place that I've stayed that has something like that is certain aspects of my Virgin Voyage experience, because there are a little bit more outside of the box as far as some of their designs, but on a resort level, it definitely kind of stood out. And to help you appreciate that, if you go to the Garza Blanca side, while it's a sister property and you have some things that are similar, Garza Blanca kind of fits the mold of what a typical resort kind of gives you, that kind of feel as far as the design and the decor and things like that. So that's something that really stands out, that I think people that are looking for a certain vibe and grown and sexy and something different for the Cancun area, that they would appreciate. Our final day, as far as like them preparing us and getting us ready for the airport, we had private transfer to and from the airport. They okay, here's another example of how well they literally make sure that you don't have to worry about anything. So of course we're packing up our last day, we're getting ready to leave the room, and we're like, you know, they waited on us, we've had this luxurious service, we feel so spoiled, let's just take our bags downstairs. We didn't have too much luggage, but we said, listen, it's early, let's just roll our 2 suitcases downstairs. We opened the front door and the bellman was standing there, arms like this, just patiently waiting for us to walk out the door. I don't know if they had cameras in the room the whole time. I don't know if they had a listening device. I don't know if part of his job was they're checking out at this time, their car is arriving at this time. You're going to stand in front of this door and you're going to patiently wait for them to come out this door. Needless to say, it was a little startling, but in a good way. Like, listen, from beginning to end, standing by the door, waiting for us to walk out, to grab our luggage, to escort us downstairs, to literally put us in our private transfer back to the airport. So from start to finish, it was an amazing stay. I hope I covered as many things as possible regarding Hotel Mousai. I can say I look forward to going back. I look forward to helping other couples like myself, or even if you want to do solo travel, because they did have activities. We didn't do too many activities that they had available because they like the workout, the water aerobics, that was more on the Garza Blanca side. But on our last day, we did take part in, they had a cocktail class where we were able to make cocktails and taste the different types of rums and the different types of liquors that they had available, and that was fun to do. And I say that to say, like, if you are a solo traveler and you aren't traveling with a group at Hotel Mousai or as a couple, they do have activities where if you are solo, that you can have something to do and kind of just like vibe with others and have a good time. But all in all, it's a great resort. It's a great hotel. I recommend it. It's high on my list if you're going to the Cancun area, specifically the hotel zone of Cancun, and you're looking for notes of luxury, maybe not high luxury. Again, for me, that's like $10,000 a night. That's the penthouse. But if you're looking to make sure that you are going to be booking a stay in a suite where you will have your own private butler and you're going to have certain amenities, I would definitely recommend this resort. And I look forward to any of you that have any questions or would like to have an experience like I did. Reach out to me and I would love to be able to curate your destination experience to Hotel Mousai in Cancun. With that being said, we're going to close out with some more highlights of the hotel, pictures and video, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Bye.